So we are here with Linsey, my TO for Paul's Gamerzone in the great state of Ohio. She just came off of a top 8 finish at the Atlanta Trios Regional for Bushy Road Springfest, so I decided to go and get her for a bit of a tournament report and just conversation about the game and what she played.
Hi, top eight.
Mm-hmm. All right,
Yep, yep.
so just like basic questions, just like for the viewer to know. So how long have you been playing
Mhm.
Weiss for?
2 years. I kind of fell into it. So Ruby was the first deck that I ever built. And
Mm-hmm.
then I decided to build Fairy Tale second, which was a bad choice because it was older at the time and didn't really had a lot of functionality, but you know, I had to support my husbando Gray and it wasn't a very good deck, but I didn't know any better at the time, so that was new.
Yeah, and you also basically fell into being a TO, I think, too.
Yes, so I was trying to find some more stuff to do with my daughter. She was into anime. I've never really even watched it, so I wanted to know what she was doing, and I just kind of fell in love with anime. And then I kind of was asked to TO this game called Weiss at the store. They wanted to bring it in, and I learned how to play it. That's all she wrote 2 years later and still doing it. So it's great.
Yeah, we've come a long way since that, too.
Yes.
So, can you talk about what your tournament experience has been like so far? Like up until Atlanta, how many have you been able to go to, and like, how have you done?
Oh, I've done awful. So I don't think I've ever
I
been
would
out of
say
like the
that.
top. No, I love it. It's not that I had like a bad experience with it. We just never really, I can't remember this was only my third tournament because I only went to two trios last year. I didn't get to go to any of the singles events because
Mhm.
I was busy traveling for work. And so I didn't get a chance to do any of the singles events. But with trios, I mean, our my first trios experience was Chicago, and I didn't think we did bad. We just didn't get in, I think we're in like 20th or in like the middle. It wasn't like awful, but it was a
Nice.
lot of fun. I loved it. I loved meeting the people. I really enjoyed seeing all the different decks and playing all this, stuff that I don't see normally. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And then New Jersey, when we went there, that was the second one I did, and we did not do well at all. But I still had fun. I still loved
Hmm.
it. So even if I don't do, I just like to go and play,
Yeah.
Oh, and I forgot I did WGP this year. And I'm lucky that I get to travel some for work. Like I was in Dallas for a whole week and I got to hang out with that group. I got to play with them twice because they have 5 million places that they get to play Weiss. They're very lucky,
Yeah.
and we have like one.
All right. So let's talk about what you ended up bringing into Atlanta then. What did you end up playing, and why did you end up choosing it?
Well, I played Chainsaw Man.
Hmm.
I chose it because I love Aki. He is my favorite Chainsaw Man character. There was a big joke with my team saying Linsey was probably the only real Aki fan playing Chainsaw Man, but I'm obsessed with him. So
What do you like about the deck?
that it's Aki. No, basically that's what I like about it. No, it's I don't know. I enjoy the simplicity of it. I mean, there's some complicated parts about it, but it's for a tournament setting. I don't want I'm going to be playing for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
I don't want to fry my brain after two matches. Yes, there's going to be difficult matches that I have to think
Hmm.
on my, but with Aki, it's a cheaper, like well, on stock and my resources. It's just it makes for a good time because I'm not overthinking and having to remember where all this stuff is and where all my cards are at, and
Hmm.
it's just a simpler deck to play for this type of tournament and the longevity of how long you have to play.
Hmm. So what was the rest of your team playing then?
I had a Spy X Family, 8 Pants, but not Fiona. It was the level one Lloyd.
Hmm.
So it was basically 8 Pants all Lloyd. And then we had a Bang Dream standby deck.
So how were you feeling then coming into the tournament? Like, were you feeling kind of good then since you had a little bit of practice beforehand, or is it always still kind of nervous for you just coming into it?
It's always kind of nerve wracking, but I'm very outgoing. So I
Hmm.
don't mind, like, sitting down with strangers and just playing and having a good time. So, usually after my first round, I'm okay and not as nervous. But I was surprised how well we did to, because I knew, we were coming into it, not really, we didn't have three meta decks, and that just kind of proves that you don't need three meta decks to top at a tournament. You just need to win two out of the three. I didn't think that we would get as far as we did, but the two guys that I played with are great. I had a great time with them, so it was perfect.
So going into the actual tournament then, let's go through your Swiss matchups one by one then.
Yeah, so I got to do the mirror match first, which I was actually really excited about because I haven't played a lot of mirror matches. I usually locals, I don't play my Chainsaw Man deck because I don't want us to have so many there that everybody's like, I gotta play Chainsaw Man again. So I try to play other things. So I was pretty excited about that. It was one of the easier matchups that I had. Just because I know what the deck does. So it's easier for me to figure out what they're trying to do. So I was able to get my Akis out first, and I was able to, I believe I killed him from, it was like 2-6. It was a good match. I really enjoyed it. And then I ended up losing my second match. I thought I had it in the bag at the beginning. I was playing Guilty Gear against Guilty Gear, the standby bar. So it was Ram.
Okay.
And he was having issues canceling at the beginning. Like, he didn't cancel anything. I had him up to level 2. I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to win this. I was so excited. And then I got to, he was in kill range. Like, he was like 3-3, and I had 3 Akis out. I was like, I'm going to kill him. And he canceled almost everything. He got lucky with his cancels, and then he turned around and killed me. So, it was just one of those things. But the other two, my other two teammates had already lost by then. So
round
3 was Overlord. I was scared to death to play this deck. Hagen always kills me with it. I just hate this deck. And luckily I was, you could tell he was newer to the deck. He just picked it up like a month ago. He was struggling a lot to, set up his board and get things going with it. So I was able to kill him pretty easily. He was out of climaxes. I think he had a couple in his hand. So it ended up being a pretty easy match in the end. And like I said, you can tell he was really new at the deck and just didn't really know how to play it properly. But he did good for only having a month to learn it. So, and they were one of the nicest teams. I think out of the 3 we played, they were a lot of fun. We actually had a lot of fun playing against them. And then
so with that game, did the Overlord player end up getting out Eins then at level 2 with all the markers?
Yes, he did. They only had 2 goats. Yeah, he was only able to get 2 goats out, and he had the goats underneath. And I think, and I wrote this down, that he had them out, and then I was able to get out all 3 of my Akis, and I killed him. Basically, he got it out at high. I think he was 2-6. He was able to get him out, and then I killed him with Aki at like right what because he's like, well, you can't reverse me. I'm like, that's fine. I'm just killing you from here. So I only had 3 Easy Revenges in my memory too. So I wasn't like all out, but I knew he was out of a lot of climaxes, and I think he knew he was in danger. But if he got his Eins to go through, if I didn't kill him then, I would have been dead. But yeah, it was fun. I hate killing people from 2. It makes me feel bad, but that match it was freaky. Like, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, and unfortunately when you're in a tournament setting, you have to do it for your team too, though.
Yeah. And we were one of the last to finish, so yeah, so I was like, I had to win. If I didn't win, then we would have lost, because I believe that is the one that Evan won, that I cannot remember. Those are they're all smushed together. Yeah,
I'm asking you a week after, so there are some stuff that's gonna like get muddled, but what is your team record going into round 4? 2-1?
So we had won 2 going into, and lost 1 going into 4. We ended up actually losing this match up as well as a team, and I lost to Konosuba, the Darkness deck. My problem there, I didn't cancel a single bit of damage, not one piece,
Ooh,
not at all. And it's not even like I was out of climaxes or anything. It was just, you know, the luck of the cards, as they
it's
say.
one
I
of those
just
games where you
didn't,
don't cancel. Yeah.
no, canceled nothing.
Right.
I was like, okay, I guess this is how this game's going. And
Remember if that team ended up making top 8?
yes, they did. That was Devin Linsey's team from Virginia.
I think their name
So
was Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss.
yes,
Yes.
yes. They were seventh. So we were eighth. They were seventh going into top eight. I
Hmm.
forget where they placed. I think it was like around fourth, didn't they?
Yes, they got top 4.
Yeah, yeah. It was nice to meet them finally because I've talked to them online and it was
Hmm.
really cool to meet them finally.
Yeah, one of our
But we
players
had a
is
lot of
also
fun
from
playing
there
them.
too. So.
Yeah, it was great. And then five was the weirdest deck I played all day.
Hmm.
It was Azur Lane Cat's Two Soul deck. I the It was an interesting deck, and this is one of my most challenging matches that I had all day because I was like, he was throwing swinging for like 6, 7 damage almost every turn.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was. I was like, oh my god, this is just gonna kill me. And Aki doesn't like to be rushed.
Hmm.
So what I ended up doing with him is I just tried to bottom deck most of his cats,
Mm.
and then trying to keep most of my climaxes in my deck so I could cancel, and just focused more on staying at level 2 and healing
Hmm.
than even trying to do anything with Aki. Because I knew if I started focusing on doing like milling out my deck and that I was going to be dead. So I actually ended up killing him with my early plays.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I
Mm.
never and I actually used, I don't use it very often, but I actually used my 3/2 Himeno, the alarm one where you return stuff to the player's hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up using that for like the first time in forever because I knew he had milled out of a lot of climaxes. So I was trying to hit him with a level, I think it was a Keisha Bay level 1 in an empty lane,
Okay.
just so I could do something. And I ended up putting my climax down and not have any Akis. And poor Evan, my one teammate, was like, oh, he's like, in my mind, I thought we were totally dead because Linsey didn't put out her Akis.
Oh.
But yeah, it was a nerve wreck because, that we needed to win this match.
Yeah.
And I ended up deciding at the last minute to side a character because I would only do like 2 damage because I was so scared of over swinging, and it was just perfect.
Mm.
So it worked out
Yeah.
and we ended up winning that.
Do you
And then
remember? Do you remember with that Azure Lane matchup what their climaxes were? Was it 8 bar or did they have 2 soul?
no, the Azur Lane was literally 2 soul. It was red 2 soul and blue 2 soul.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
So
when you were saying that they were swinging for 6 or 7, they really were swinging for that. That's a lot. Wow.
it was crazy. It seemed like he never like really did a climax combo. It was like the whole point of the deck was just to like deal crazy amounts of damage.
Yes.
And I'm like, it was strange because usually you can figure out when you're playing somebody like what the point is, and I'm like, man, this is just soul rushing me.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't make for a very fun game either. It was very stressful because 2 of those stick, and I'm like, I'm at
That's
level
basically a whole level.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that one was the hardest match because I had to really think about where every, like, down to every detail, like, so
Yeah.
I could cancel and make sure that he didn't kill me with 3 swings.
All right. So then next round, what is this? Round 5 now?
We are at, no, this is 6.
Round 6.
5 was cat. 6 was, so we had to win our 6th match. So now we've only lost 2.
Your team is 3-2. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're heading into our 6th match, and we played against 3 meta decks. So I will never forget. I was playing Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
Will had to play against Chainsaw Man again for
Oh
like
wow.
the 3rd or 4th time. Like, he played so many Chainsaw Man decks. I felt so bad. And then Evan was playing against, oh god, I always get them mixed up. Each whatever the door one is, the Quint with the
Ichiki.
eye. Ichiki, yes, the door Quint.
I remember this one because Evan said the guy told him they were undefeated going into his match.
Yes. Evan was like, great, I'm dead. And I don't know the whole, like, I haven't got the play by play. Like, we were just so excited to get top eight that, it was, I didn't get the whole play by play on how he beat him. But I ended up with the Avatar deck. I don't really know what he was doing 100%. I haven't played against it nearly enough to know if he was doing anything wrong with it, but
Hmm.
I just knew Sokka bad. I don't want Sokka near me. I don't want it on the board. So I just I would take my Himenos and just make sure I bottom decked Sokka constantly.
Hmm.
He never got his level 3 combo off.
Oh wow.
And yeah, he kept looping his level 1 combo, which I thought isn't like a normal thing. But I think he was having issues getting his standby triggers and getting standby in his hand.
Because generally with that deck, it's kind of the thing where if you can stand by over the Sokka, you can just keep attacking as long as you have Sokkas to kill.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't even remember. I think Sokka was out once or twice.
Hmm.
And I always bottom decked him with my Himonos. So it was an odd match. The deck, I think he was struggling. I think he just wasn't getting the cards he needed because he didn't really trigger any standby. I think once, and he was having a hard time. I could just tell he was frustrated and everything. So, and then but I ended up beating him, and then Evan won his match. It
Hey,
was
it's
great.
good. So,
Yeah,
I know one thing with that. Your team was eighth place going into the final round. Did being right on
yes.
that edge of top eight, did that put any pressure on you then, or was it kind of reassuring that you were already there?
Well, it was weird. Like, I didn't think we made it. We thought we were ninth for the longest time. So we thought we were on the bubble, and then we
Oh,
realized we didn't refresh. So we were
okay.
like, oh, we made it. So we were excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it was one of those things that we didn't realize we were top eight. We kept saying we were ninth. And then the people that the Overlord team, the one we played third round, they're like, well, no, we're ninth. And we're like, what? So we refresh and we go, oh, we're eighth.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we didn't even know. It wasn't something that we checked. Like, we stayed around 12th place, like 14th place most of the day. Like, we didn't drop like too crazy. And it was nice because I think we just happened to beat the teams we needed to beat. Like, we
Hmm.
lost as a team, and whenever I won, one other would win. It just worked out really well for us. And I just happened to play, like, I felt bad for Will and Evan. Evan had to play Slime like twice or three times. I can't even remember. I think it was Slime twice and a Chainsaw Man deck. And then Will had like three Chainsaw Man decks. It was crazy. Like, they got all the meta decks, and then I got all the weird one-off stuff like the cats. And I think I played Chainsaw Man once, Avatar, and that Overlord deck. But
So how was deck check then going into your first top
oh
eight?
my God, that was the most stressful time of my life. I was like, oh my gosh, like, please be right. Please be right. Because I have a certain thing. Like, I always put my deck in, I always have someone else check it. So I had my deck in, I had someone else check it. I changed my sleeves to black sleeves, just like I always do. And they start looking through my deck, and I'm just like freaking out because I'm just like, what if I did something wrong? Oh my God. And then they go, oh, what's this on your sleeve? And they start picking at it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I forgot that I ate like a handful of nuts or something. Like, I had almonds and I ate a handful of it. And then I probably got a little bit of dust on one of my cards. And so I had to resleeve my whole deck. Will had to resleeve because
Oh wow.
his was too see through. He didn't know because Will hadn't played in, I think he said, in like a couple of years. He hasn't been in like a Weiss tournament. Like, it's been a while. So he didn't realize that he couldn't have as opaque as he did. So we both resleeved. Evan's the only one who did not have to resleeve their decks.
Evan was the good kid.
Evan was our good kid as usual. He was the angel child who didn't have to resleeve. But I knew they were going to be strict, and I have a very, like, I never use character sleeves. That way I don't have to worry about the outer sleeves. I
Hmm.
always use black sleeves. I have a certain ritual. I always buy 2 boxes of dragon shields just in case. Luckily I did this time. And then so Yeah, and there was a lot of people resleeving. There was one guy who had to change his character sleeves and his oversleeves. There was a lot. I knew they were strict, but I didn't realize it was going to be that stressful or that strict. And I'm like, oh God, we're done. We're done. Like the whole time.
Well, you guys made it.
We made it. We did it. We
All
did
right.
it. The stress was worth it. It was nice to watch what they do and how they did it, and like just for future reference, I
Hmm.
guess. So we went right into, because we were eight, so we played the first place team.
That's tough.
It was tough, and it happened to be my Texas peeps that I met when I was there,
Yep, with
in
one of our
Dallas.
teammates from the Trigger League, Ben.
Yes, Ben, good old Ben. And if I had to lose to anybody, I'm glad I lost to them. If you know what I mean, because
Yeah.
Ben is like the happiest human ever. I mean, he just laughs and laughs and laughs and just enjoys it. And but what was good about our match is,
Did you match against him specifically?
yes,
Okay.
he was A, and I got to play the same deck on went last the Wednesday before, because
Hmm.
that was the deck he played in his locals. We were so into our match that we didn't even realize the other two had lost already. Like
Oh
my team had
wow.
lost already. Yeah, because I I was like, I lost, and I didn't even care that I lost because I played so much better against him than I did when I was in Texas, because they kind of gave me a crash course on like certain things, that I didn't think about, and questioning why I was doing things and everything to help me think about things before I do it. So, I lost to Ben, but you know what? I played better, and that's a win in my book. That's what's important, that I learn from my mistakes and I get better at what I was doing. And it was fun to lose to him, I guess.
I think that's the
And
first
poor
time I've ever
Evan,
heard a Weiss player say that. But yeah.
it was fun to lose. Yeah, I always have fun losing. It's great. No, poor, like, because Evan played against Avatar, and he's like, "Yeah, I lost to basically Sokka. He could have probably attacked me 7 or 8 times." I was like, "Oh
That's a
God."
crazy sentence.
Yeah, I know, but it was I don't know, it was great. I mean, I think we all enjoyed losing to them because we weren't even mad about it. We were just kind of like, yeah, we knew that, they were more skilled than we were.
Mm. So then looking back on the tournament as a whole, did you feel like you leveled up throughout the tournament, or do you think a lot of what you were able to take into from practicing beforehand was what led you through the tournament?
It was beforehand, because when you're in the tournament, you have 35 minutes. Like, you need to really think quickly. And 35 minutes you think is a long time, but it really isn't. I never got to time, but it was usually pretty close. So I think knowing your deck as much as possible before going into it is, beneficial, especially for like people who are newer. Like, I haven't been playing that long, and Weiss is like the first real TCG game I've ever played. So I don't
Hmm.
have like a lot of reference to other things. So I think, with me, just sitting down with people and going through things and people questioning why I'm doing things, it's more beneficial than learning on the fly when I'm supposed to be winning. It makes
So
sense in my head,
yeah,
but
no, I think 2 years to top eight is really impressive. So that's something to be really proud of. I think.
what's funny is, like, I'm proud for my team, and I'm, proud of myself for doing, but I just feel like so happy. It's almost like I feel happy for Will and Evan more than myself. I'm like so happy that I was able to be part of the team to help them do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I was 4-2, they were both 2-4. So, like, me being able to win those four was able to help them get to top eight. So it just makes me feel like I was like the RBI person. I might be thinking of it totally wrong, but I'm just happy that I was able to give them that experience, I guess,
Yeah.
or help them get that experience.
So
It's the mom in me. It's the mom in me. That's what it is.
all right. So I do have your deck log pulled up because I think some people would probably be interested in your deck and looking at some of the choices that you made with it.
Yes.
Were there any cards that you found to be more valuable the day of the tournament as you went on, or like as you practiced with it?
So the one that I undervalued was my level 0 Makima,
Mm,
the Let's Last Night's Drinks Makima, the ditch two characters, top two, one hand, one stock.
yeah.
Level 0. I undervalued that. And when I was in Texas, they were like, this card's broken. I'm like, no, I never use it. Oh, yeah. I almost use it every game and some games twice. Once I got more, when I understood more of the utility of it, like reading your cards is very important. And I thought
Reading
you
the
could
card
only get
explains the card.
characters with it for some reason.
Oh yeah, you can get climaxes with that. You can get
You can
stock
get
out of it.
climaxes and everything. So yeah, I was using my Kobeni, revealing the top, saw it was a climax, and if I had my Makima went down top two, then I got a stock out of it too. So
Yeah.
and it filters out stuff that I didn't need. The other one that kind of saved my butt a couple of times was my reward for work Himno, my level 1. I was able to use it to grab 2 characters, ditch things I didn't need. And if I had a climax that I would trigger during my attack phase, I could pay it out. It was really helpful as well. So it was the last minute kind of changes that I made with the deck.
I know you were also
Yeah.
playing the clean cuts at one point too.
I've never liked clean cuts, and I had them in and they weren't helping me in any way.
Hmm.
I was basically constantly clocking them and putting them in my stock, and I'm like, I need to find a card that can do better utility, you know. So those came out, and I don't remember what I replaced them. I replaced them with more Kobenis,
Hmm.
actually.
So looking at your list, then there is one thing that I was looking at that I think a lot of players do have a lot of discourse on whether or not to do. You played Chainsaw Man with Kishibe, so what was your opinion on playing him, and has your opinion ended up changing over time?
I want to take him out so bad. I mean, he's fine.
Hmm.
It works. I have him in there now. Like I said, I don't focus on him. He's just kind of in there just in case. But usually if I get 2 of them out, it's fine. But it's just, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it might make the deck run a little bit more clunky because of you can't play your events. As soon as I take him out though, like it seems like the deck falls apart. So I don't understand why that is. It's just not my favorite card,
Hmm.
I guess. And if I have him in my hand, I play him. I don't hunt it out unless there's really a card that I don't want to deal with on my next turn. I'll play it. You know, if I can get over with 2, then I just play 2. But I do not hunt Keisha Bays out usually.
I also see you play the 3/2 power. How often do you end up using that?
Like 1 in 30 matches, like hardly at all.
Did you keep it going forward then, or?
It is good for the one time that you refresh at the worst possible moment
Hmm.
and you have no Akis in your hand, because like with the deck, you don't need to have all 3 Akis in your hand. So most people usually only have one. So if for some reason you refresh at the wrong time, you don't have a lot of stock, you need you can just throw down your power and get your Akis. I've used it once since I built the deck. And I took it out for a while, and then I had a situation where right after I took it out, I needed it. So it's one of those things that you'll probably hardly ever use it. But I'm also thinking future state, if Aki gets limited, I say if, but he probably will, this power will become more of a thing that would need to be used
Hmm.
to grab him if,
Oh yeah, if he
so
matches the JP ban list limit too. Yeah.
I think it'll be, and I'd rather start thinking future state because I want to continue playing Aki because, like I said, he's like my
Hmm.
favorite Chainsaw Man character. And I'm just happy finally that I have like a character that I totally adore. I can play him. And I've noticed that when I play those types of characters from the animes that I like and characters that I like, I play the deck so much better.
Yeah, that's actually kind of like a running joke with like some of the younger guys in our group. It's all about just liking the character and just believing in them, you know?
Yeah, you believe in them. You got to trust the
Which is
character.
really anime to think about, but yeah.
And it's nice too that you can take like these different animes that you love and adore, and you can make a good deck out of any Weiss set, really.
Hmm.
It's all how it's piloted. And I mean, just look at you if you look at the top 8 list in Atlanta, I mean, it was all over. There was some weird stuff,
Hmm.
and but people were playing what they loved. Like Ben has review working. Nobody plays review,
For now.
but he for now. But now that he got third, but he worked and worked on that deck to get it to work,
Hmm.
because that's what he loves that character and everything, stuff like that. And that's what I think that's why I've kind of stuck with Weiss the most, is because there's so many different IPs and there's so many different effects and there's just ways you can get things to work. And I don't know, it's problem solving, and that kind of stuff is always exciting for me.
So then, starting to wrap up, what are your overall thoughts about Atlanta then? Just like the experience, getting to play, like getting that top eight for.
It was a lot of fun, actually. I think Atlanta. I think I had the most fun with my opponents in Atlanta.
Mhm.
And I don't know if it's because now I've been in the community for for 2 years, and I know of more people.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm just more comfortable, because this will be my third tournament that I did. But I think it was just a lot of fun. Like, we and it wasn't even like, if even if we didn't get top eight, it was just we played really cool people.
Mhm.
I met some awesome people. It was and my teammates were great. They weren't getting all, like, overly stressed, and they were just it was I think it was this one was my favorite so far. Um, Compared to the others, like, there's certain parts of, like, my very first tournament that I'll always love more than others, but yeah, Atlanta was, I think, my favorite tournament that I've played so far. And it's mainly because of the people that I
Mhm.
got to play against and my teammates and all of that.
So looking ahead, what tournaments are you coming to next?
So next is Chicago. I
Mhm.
have my first all girl team. I have a youngin on the team, so I'm excited for her. It's going to be her first tournament ever, and Miranda's as well. So she's done, I think, Magic tournaments, but this will be her first White tournament. So I'm excited for them that we get to have an all girl team, and I get to bring them into the world of trios.
Mhm.
It'll be a lot of fun for them.
So then, to close this out, then, do you have any just final shout outs for just last things you might want to say?
Well, I want to thank my awesome teammates, and I want to just, we had an awesome run and it was great. And I want to thank all the guys in Texas and Dallas that I got to hang out with the week prior. I mean, they treated me like I was one of them the whole time. They were very welcoming and helpful, and I always appreciate that. Like I was telling people before, I've never met like a really awful, awful person who plays Weiss. They're all usually pretty cool people,
Hmm.
and I just want to thank all of my locals, my local peeps, because everyone knows I just adore all of y'all,
All your sons.
all my sons and my new daughters. But yeah, you guys are all great. I'm very blessed to have such a good group of people around. All of especially like we have younger players and stuff. We just have a great group of guys and gals, and we're very blessed. So to have all that.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much. So this was Linsey, my TO at Paul's Gamerzone in Massillon,
Hmm.
Ohio, and thank you for having this interview with me.
All right, thank you, Aaron, and I will talk to you soon.